Shin Megami Tensei references and draws from many different mythologies from a range of cultures, but obviously Japan and Japanese culture is at the forefront, regardless of the heavy-handed Judeo-Christian and Lovecraftian lore that dwells on the surface of the franchise. This layering of inspiration results in many curious anomalies. There's a set of characters I'd really like to touch on. These are the Kuzunoha clan. In Shin Megami Tensei, the Kuzunohas are a clan of very powerful demon summoners. So powerful that that's the title of their own spin-off series. There's quite a few branches of the Kuzunoha tree. Among them are Raido Kuzunoha, Garen Kuzunoha, and Kyoji Kuzunoha. These names aren't actually names, at least not anymore. See, these are titles carried over to people who have proven themselves worthy. Before we get into the Devil Summoners, let's go over some of the history and mythology as it relates to the Kuzunoha clan. What makes the narrative interesting is that it blends fact and fiction, and fuses the growing Japanese folk myth with real-life historical documentation. This is the origin story, the tale of the Fox Kuzunoha. It all starts with the name. Kuzunoha, or sometimes Kuzunohana, that's the name of an Inari Kitsune, a yokai or a Japanese spiritual entity. These foxes, like many other yokai, operate under the premise that the longer living you are, the more tails or sentience you will attain. One for every 100 years of life, as well as intelligence and magical ability. The ability we are most concerned with is the ability of shapeshifting. Kuzunoha translates to Kuzu leaf, and Kuzunohana translates to Kuzu vine. These aren't really relevant to the story, but I thought they were interesting. So anyway, after 50 to 100 years, a kitsune will gain the ability to shapeshift, and they typically favor the human form. So the Kuzunoha story starts as follows. During the reign of Emperor Murakami, the heir to the Abe family legacy, Abe no Yasuna, is struggling to rebuild his home, which fell from grace when his father was tricked by conmen, thus reducing the once prestigious and wealthy family to basically nothing. Yasuna would regularly go to the nearby Inari shrine, which had many Kuzu leaves surrounding him. And during one of these trips, Yasuna encountered a byakko, which is a white fox, and it begged for his help as it was being hunted. Yasuna helped the fox, and the angry hunter then chose to attack Yasuna in revenge. He was injured very badly and he could not return home on his own. But soon, out of seemingly nowhere, a beautiful woman comes up to the ailing Yasuna and assists him in walking home. She told him her name was Kuzunoha, and she stayed by his side until he healed from the beating. They fell in love and they got married. Soon, Kuzunoha bore a child, a son. They lived happily for a time, until one day her son saw her true form, a white fox. The story varies from accounts being that he saw her reflection in a mirror, or her tail under her kimono, or various other ways. Because her secret was revealed, she went away leaving this tanka. If you love me, come and visit. In the forest of Shinoda in Izumi, the resentful Kuzu leaf. After reading the poem, Yasuna realizes that she was the fox that he saved many years ago, and he rushes with his son to the Inari shrine near a lake surrounded by Kuzu. This is where he first encountered Kuzunoha. She presented him with a crystal ball and a golden box as parting gifts, and then she left her human family forever. The story would continue in Kuzunoha's son, Abe no Seme. Abe no Seme is an interesting person because he's often related as the Japanese Merlin, which is kind of a silly interpretation of who he was as a person, because not only were there many stories about him, but he was actually very much a real person. I want to discuss that in a totally separate video, and I found it interesting how much they really do blend this reality and fiction. The shrine I mentioned in the story is actually a real place, and you can go there. I'll leave that in the description below. This story about this particular vixen fits what's called the Arn Thompson Tail Type Index, number 402, the Animal Bride. The Arn Thompson Tail Type Index is a way for folklorists to categorize different stories and narratives into specific archetypes. This means that this is not the only story with this sort of narrative. It's also one of many from around the world, hence the categorization. And the category is basically defined as the Animal Bride, the genre of story where a person, usually a man, rescues an animal, then later encounters the women are person of their dreams, the woman hides who she is, and when the truth comes out, she often has to leave. In the next video, I'll cover Abi no Seme, and hopefully there'll be just one more where I'll go into detail on the Kuzunoha lineage after that. If you liked this sort of small video if you like the sort of video that helps build the foundation for the mythology of the series, then I'll be glad to do more. Thank you guys for watching.